Hey, Dino.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How are we doing?
We're good,
Yeah.
brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Thank you for taking some time and talking about things. We certainly appreciate it. We're excited for Rock the Raceway. I imagine you guys are as well.
Oh,
Talk
we're
to us a
oh,
little bit about the origin story behind Red Voodoo. How did you guys get together?
yeah. So we've been a band for 6 years, and it's not your classic cookie cutter story where we all met in high school. It was the Sacramento music scene. I went out and wanted to find guys that were just as committed as I am, and it was a process. I found my guitar player through some friends in the music scene. David Moyler, killer guitar player. My bass player Andrew Edwards, also known as the Rooster. I found him on a Craigslist ad of all places. You know what I mean? And our drummer Richie Moreno found him through Instagram. So it's the culmination is basically just through networking through social media and the music scene. And we all came together just because we love music. We want to do this as a career, and we want to try to bring back rock and roll so it could be here for generations to come.
Yeah, Dino, was that the kind of thing that really, glued you guys together? Was the kind of the vibe and the sound that you wanted to create with the band?
Yeah, 100%. When the band first formed, we would go out and we would do 4-hour cover shows of our heroes: Van Halen, Hagar, Poison. Now we're opening for them, which is very cool. But yeah, it was we wanted to take a lost sound, a lost art, and bring it back for our generation and keep it going.
That's really cool. Dino Wild from Red Voodoo joins us. Going to be out at the Meridian Raceway coming up on October 11th. Rock the Raceway. You can grab your tickets at eventbrite.com if you want to go check out the show. We certainly encourage you to do so. So, a lot of people think everybody's an overnight success, man, but you guys have been clawing at it for a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sacramento is home, but you have been road dogging it for a while as well, going out on the road, doing your thing. You like bringing the music on the road and tour to places like Idaho, back from home?
Oh yeah, 100%. Anywhere where we could play, and we put on such an energetic, lively show that you don't want to miss this show, of course. And it'll be our first time. It'll be our first time being at the Raceway, so we're very excited.
From the very beginning, you said that you were playing a bunch of, shows, cover shows or tribute or whatever you want.
Right.
How quickly were you able to transfer that and start really banging out original tunes out there, like, just kind of getting past that? Because a lot of bands get
Ah,
stuck in that rut. So how do you,
oh,
get past that?
it was interesting for us. COVID was a terrible thing, but for us, it was really a time where we could really hone in on our craft. Frank Hannon from the band Tesla, the guitarist from Tesla, also lives in Sacramento, and he kind of helped us during that time in 2020 to really coach us on how to write songs and really find ourselves and what our sound is. You know what I mean? And ever since then, we were like, all right, we're not going to be able to do what we want to do doing covers. We have to buckle up and write some originals. So we're super stoked that that path opened up for us, and we got to work with Sammy Hagar's producer recently on our debut EP, self-titled Red Voodoo, and we learned a lot from him as well.
We've got the song All Night Long of yours. And, when I heard it, it kind of reminded me just a little bit about how, perceptions or whatnot, you hear you're something from a particular era and you think, hey, new bands can't do that. But really, I think they can. And there's a band that blew us away years ago that we have fallen in love with, Airborne. Of course, they sound like AC/DC. And to me, you guys have that kind of a spirit, I say, of that. How do you translate that to on stage doing a live performance? Because that kind of music brings a certain energy that you have to have.
You have to have that energy, and the way we kind of like to lay out our show is just we have to pace ourselves because we just go crazy out there. You know what I mean? But we have an intense drum solo, have a great guitar solo, have a little bass interlude, and all night long. Um, and yeah, we just have to bring that certain intensity. What you hear on that debut EP is exactly what you're gonna get live, and
Let's
that's
talk
that.
about the debut EP a little bit, man. It's been out for a bit. What was the recording process for you guys like? Because it's a different world now. Everything can be done digitally. You don't all have to be in person. But do you like that kind of being in a room together and knocking it out, or was this done a different way?
No, we went to Hyde Street Studios in San Francisco with Jameson Durr, and we knocked it out. It was our first time ever in a big studio. This is where Train recorded, Hagar recorded, the Grateful Dead recorded all their records there, and I could go on and on. But it was such a legendary, studio. and an experience that we had. No, we went all out together, and we wanted to record it in a studio the right way. You know what I mean?
That's great, man. And so far, what's the coolest rock and roll moment you guys have had so far together as a band?
Oh, we've had a lot so far. We've been very, very lucky and very fortunate. Probably right now on the top of my head is when our friend Sammy Hagar, invited us to play Guy Fieri's birthday party in a restaurant. They rented it out, and we got to do a very cool set with Sammy backing him up, doing all of his hits for Guy Fieri and all the Raiders.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. But Guy's a great friend too, and very, very nice.
That's really cool, man. That is really cool. I used to live and work in Sacramento. I imagine you guys have frequented one of my favorite venues, Boardwalk there. Still around?
What's funny is we're playing the Boardwalk this Wednesday. We're opening up for a band called Pablo Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah. So no, that venue's still kicking.
Love it. Well, you get a chance to see Red Voodoo when they come through town. It's the first concert in 20 years at Meridian Speedway. They don't do this very often, so it's a really cool thing. They kind of take over, put on a big stage in the infield, and then everybody kind of takes over, and it's a whole full day of rock.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Just 20 years, right?
But yeah, it's let's love it. Saturday, October 11th. Tickets are available at Eventbrite. You can also grab them at xrock.com. Dino, pleasure to meet you, brother. We're looking forward to the show. We'll see you then, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Rock and roll, brother.
See you, man.